everyone. I am Marian Odu Esq, and in support of the 16 days activism of against gender-based violence, I'm here to talk about inclusion of women at various levels of leadership, especially when it has to do with decision making. Like, we know that I'm not going to bring this down to just Nigeria, but I'm going to talk about worldwide. We're patriarchal in nature, and we've seen situations where we know that probably a woman would have been best for that seat or best in making such decisions, but then women are not really included. And over 20 years ago at the Beijing conference, there were 16 goals that were set out, and SDG 5 was about gender-based equality. Can we say that in 20 years we have lived up to that expectation of gender-based equality? If you ask me, with things happening around me and globally, I would say no. And saying no, I'm going to use Nigeria first as my case study. Remember the 2023 elections of Adamawa State, where a lady at the end of the day was said to be the winner, but before we know, powers from above were saying that no, the rec officer didn't have a right to announce the elections, that the elections was not yet concluded. And for some of us ladies, we're really happy that, oh, if the North can produce a female governor, then we in the South and the East can do it. Why did I say from the North? Forgive me, I stand to be corrected, but if there is one region in Nigeria that has not allowed civilization, the coming of the colonial masters, to affect their tradition, religion, and their way of life, is from the North. Are those people from the North? In the North, you know, the whole forgive me, but I think the gender-based inequality in the North is more than these places. At least in the South, there are things that they will regularly allow. There are things they will let a lady in the South do. Till date in the North is not allowed. So if the North was able to produce a female governor, I am very sure that the 2027 elections would have had more participants of females in the South and the East. But for whatever reasons, I think we have not grown to that stage where we will accept women, to include women at all levels of decision making. Right now, we mostly have the women. After the Beijing Convention, we must applaud that in Nigeria, in some places in the South, female participation has increased in the third tier of government, which is the local government. In Cross River State, for example, during the last two administrations, where it was done, the gender equality was to a large extent better than what it is now, where you have a male vice and a female chairman, or a male chairman and a female vice versa. In River State, for every local government, you can't have two persons of same gender coming into as the chairman and local government chairman. In short, in River State, it has gone higher and better, where it has to be a male governor and a female deputy governor. I look forward to when we'll have a female governor and a male governor, and let's hope that, since the plan is for 2030, let's hope that by 2030 that has happened. So when we come to inclusion, when we talk about inclusion of women in all levels of leadership, let us not always make it far, but let's bring it down to our house. In our houses, how many of us permit our daughters to take decisions that will affect us in the future? That will affect us in the future. You go to some houses, you see them when they are counting children. You say, I mean, I only one pikin I get to. Why? Because you have just a male child. So the female children are not children, and now they go marry commot. Does that even make any sense? And when you even check, many a times it is the mothers of those children that mostly make the statements. Now let's go back to what we are actually talking about, which is the making decisions at all levels of leadership. In the houses, you see them saying, we are thinking of, you see the mother and the father come to make a decision, and then they'll call the sons. And what do you think? What do you not think? Many a times, the female children are not even brought back home when decisions are going to be made, forgetting that when there is a mistake, I think the shame even goes more to the women. You won't marry that woman, you don't know what's happen for the family. So I believe that at all levels, when they say at all levels of decision making, the smallest unit of institution is the family. So we have to teach our girls from inside that yes, your voice matters, your voice counts, because a woman that will not be allowed to make decision in her house while growing up will not even be fit to stand in the parliament to discuss for us. Women were naturally wired to think about people around us. How will it affect this person? How will it affect that person? That was how women were naturally wired. How do we ensure that female participation is higher in all tiers and all parts of government, not just government, even in offices? There was a time a friend of mine were discussing, then she still had babies, she was nursing. I still had a child, I was nursing, our children were really young, but we were ready to go back to work. And then we had this random discussion and we said, why can't offices even have crèche in the building? Getting somebody. I am very sure that a lot of women that are nursing will be willing and ready to pay an attendant or even bring their own nannies. And she went ahead to say, let them even try it and see if our productivity will not be high. Because if I take my child to a crèche that is far from me, I'll be scared and I can't go there till at the end of work. And all through that day, I'll be thinking of the fact that what's my child doing, what's my child not doing. But if there is a crèche within the building, I could take my lunch break to go there and see how my child is faring. And that way, like she said, let them check if female productivity will not be high. So when we're talking about inclusion in everything we are doing, whenever we're doing anything, and if there are women involved in decision makings, you will see that a woman will think of that. Like 3 years ago, that was when the Nigerian Bar Association had its conference in Port Harcourt, and that was the first ever crèche. And how did we get this? Because there was a woman involved in decision making, and she ensured that there was a crèche. And I remember that year there were a lot of nursing mothers that participated in that conference. And I am sure if the Nigerian Bar Association wants to take its statistics, you would see that participation of nursing mothers has increased over the years after that year, because everybody went back home and was saying, yeah, so you can go with your toddler, because there is a crèche. What are we talking about? Inclusion of women, in all levels of decision making. Trust me, a woman will always make a difference. So if you ask me, let us join the United Nations in achieving their goals, their 16 SDG goals, especially number 5, which is gender-based equality for 2020. Thank you.